You have heard his name, you have seen the headlines, but with war in the air and the world on edge, who is Benjamin Netanyahu really?
Backlash against Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu is growing at home.
The man leading Israel through one of its most explosive chapters. Let's rewind the clock and meet the man behind the mission. Benjamin Netanyahu was born in 1949, just 1 year after Israel itself. But his world wasn't shaped by peace, it was built on survival. His father, Benjamin Netanyahu, was a fierce historian, not just to facts, but of warnings. He believed the world had abandoned Jews once and might do that again. The fear of weakness, of surrender, became a part of Benjamin's DNA. In the 1960s, the Netanyahu family moves to America. Bibi studies at MIT, sharp mind, military background, soft American polish. But his life takes a brutal turn in 1976. An Air France plane is hijacked by terrorists. Dozens of Israelis are held hostage in Uganda. Israel launches a rescue mission. It's bold, it's surgical, and near impossible. It's called Operation Entebbe. And leading that mission is Jonathan Netanyahu, Bibi's older brother.
Israeli forces were springing into action. Under the command of the legendary Yoni Netanyahu, the elite Sayeret Matkal unit landed in Entebbe, Uganda, stormed the airport, rescued over 100 hostages, and took off again. They were on the ground for only 40 minutes.
The operation is a success, the hostages are saved, but Jonathan is killed in the final moments. The moment doesn't just scar Benjamin, it defines him. From that day forward, Netanyahu believes in strength, not just as policy, but as identity. No compromise, no hesitation, no second chances. That mission drives him. He joins Israel's diplomatic corps, becomes a sharp, media-savvy speaker, defending Israel on American TV during the 1980s.
Successive Likud governments, merely because our belief is that secure and recognized boundaries, which is the other complement, secure and recognized boundaries is the other complement of 242 and 338.
In 1988, he enters politics. In just 8 years, he becomes prime minister. Netanyahu builds a political identity around security and Jewish nationalism. He says he's protecting Israel from Iran, Hamas, and global anti-Semitism. Critics say he's fueling fear and dismantling peace. He aligns with America's right wing, backs settlements in the West Bank, and faces massive protests at home over democracy, corruption, and his own leadership style. Through it all, he keeps winning. He's been prime minister longer than anyone in Israel's history.
Why is, though, having this state of almost civil war any better than having a Palestinian entity on your border where they're involved with sort of organizing their own community? I mean,
Leslie, we've experienced what happened when these territories were in Arab hands, and in fact, when the PLO was there in these very territories before the 1967 war. What they used it for is to launch a war of extermination against Israel. Now, suppose we followed this suggestion. Suppose we just walked out, which is what they would like. They'd like us to get out so they can get in to continue, as Arafat refuses to disengage from this program, to continue a war of extermination against us. So I think for two reasons. The fact that they're terrorists and the fact that they seek our destruction, I don't think they're...
Fast forward to today, Israel is at war with Iran. Tensions with Iran are boiling, and Netanyahu is back at the helm, commanding missiles, headlines, and controversy.
I want to thank and congratulate Prime Minister Bibi Netanyahu. We worked as a team like perhaps no team has ever worked before, and we've gone a long way to erasing this horrible threat to Israel. A short time ago, the U.S. military carried out massive precision strikes on the 3 key nuclear facilities in the Iranian regime: Fordow, Natanz, and Esfahan. Everybody heard those names for years as they built this horribly destructive enterprise. Our objective was the destruction of Iran's nuclear enrichment capacity.
For some, he is defending the Jewish people. For others, the author of endless conflict.
Ladies and gentlemen, the Bible says that there is a time for peace and a time for war. This is a time for war.
His leadership is questioning even by Israeli citizens. His judicial reforms triggered historic protests. To understand Netanyahu, you need to understand Zionism. Okay, wait. What is a Zionist? But Netanyahu's version is more than a homeland. It's a fortress. A belief that the world will always be against the Jews and strength is the only answer. That fear, that conviction, that defines is not just ideology. It's his operating system.
Tonight I wish to speak to you. We're in the midst of one of the greatest military operations in history, Operation Rising Lion. The Islamic regime, which has oppressed you for nearly 50 years, threatens to destroy my country, the State of Israel. The objective of Israel's military operation is to remove this threat, both the nuclear threat and the ballistic missile threat to Israel. In the past 24 hours, we've taken out top military commanders, senior nuclear scientists, the Islamic regime's most significant enrichment facility, and a large portion of its ballistic missile arsenal. More is on the way.
Benjamin Netanyahu is a man shaped by grief, raised by nationalism and addicted to power. He's admired, he's hated, but he is never ignored. As bombs fall and alliances shift, only thing is certain. Netanyahu isn't just leading a country, he's shaping the future of Middle East. So now you know the man behind the mission, but here is the real question. Is he really saving Israel or destroying it from within? You decide. Like, share and subscribe to The Thought Effect for more truth behind global power. Thank you so much.